Hey guys, I thought we'd go ahead and have a live chat tonight. Hey Bling, hey Star Mama. I thought we'd go ahead and have a live chat and talk about whatever you guys want to talk about. Hey Cosmo. Have you guys been watching the trial of Kyle Rittenhouse? Star Mama says, hey Bobs. I watched a little bit of it. I actually had it playing this afternoon when I was doing some work. Man, it sounds to me, just my opinion, it sounds to me like the prosecutor's doing a fine job for the defense. Which I guess is appropriate considering, in my opinion, he should have never been arrested. To me, it's obvious that he was acting in self-defense. I wanted to tell you a little story, too, about a young gal I know. She's 22 weeks pregnant, and she's going to have the ultrasound, the gender reveal ultrasound, and then she's actually planning a gender reveal party, which I thought was so cute when she said it. Of course, what did I think of, right? But I think that's darling. Cosmo says, can't watch. Agree, MM. I do think he's going to be found not guilty. I think so far the prosecution witnesses have done a really good job telling the jurors how a lot of people had guns, how there was no police presence. That kid was on his own, man, on his own, and he had a bunch of icky, mean people chasing him down and making threats. And I'm sorry, if you get hit in the head with a skateboard, don't tell me those people weren't armed. You know, I hate that with these true crime cases when they say, oh, well, they weren't armed or they shot an unarmed person. I'm sorry, but if you're some thug that just got out of prison and you've been convicted of being a pedophile and you're saying things like what we've been told was said to Kyle, then I think you're armed. I think you're armed with some kind of weird rage or something. And then the officer testified today who pepper sprayed Kyle when he went up to the police and told them that he shot someone and he needed help. And they were like, get away from us, get away from the car. And then they pepper sprayed him to have him get away from them. But now they're making it sound like he didn't obey orders. Really? Where's the video from it? I want to see a video where they're actually giving him orders. Where's the video? I hope the defense produces it. I hope that the verdict is not guilty, and I hope that he is safe and sound afterwards. And I don't think he should have ever been arrested, ever. Sandy's here. Hey, Sandy. And TH is here, and TH says, hello, everyone. So I just wanted to put that out there. That's just my opinion about the Rittenhouse trial. It's actually interesting to listen to. But I'm shocked, actually, too, by some of the witnesses, because it's like, okay, one guy was on the stand. I guess his mom owned one of the car lots, and I think his dad owned whatever. He was a manager or something, but he said he wasn't an employee. Okay, then why don't they have the mom on the stand, the actual owner, or the older brother, or the dad? Why don't they have the person on the stand who actually hired Kyle, right? Isn't that what we were told? that the business owners actually hired 3 kids to watch their property. But I imagine the business owners probably don't want to talk about that, right? Star Mama says, here we have cops not telling the truth. I think when a kid goes up to an officer, and I know it was a riot, and I know that, it was a out of control situation, but when a kid approaches officers saying, I killed someone or I shot someone or whatever, I'm sorry. Yeah. And they pepper spray them and tell them to stay away. Christy's here. Christy says, hello there, MMTH, Paula, Sandy, Cosmo, and Bling. I think it's really sad that charges were ever brought against him. I think that's just terrible. And did you see it the other day where they were saying, well, he had a scratch and he had a cut and he had a bump on his head and he had this and that. They had a long list of injuries, and they were literally up there on the stand, and the prosecutor was trying to make it sound like he wasn't injured at all. They were like, yeah, it was a very small bump, I'm sorry, any bump to the head is not minor. I heard today that one of the jurors was let go by the judge after telling a bad joke to the bailiff. That was kind of interesting. I love this judge, by the way. He is a class act for sure. So, what do you guys think about the Rona? Do you think it's true that the number of cases are in a sharp decline? I'm not so sure. I hear about quite a few people who have it. That little pregnant girl I told you about who's having a gender reveal party. I can't believe that's even a thing. I really can't. But she and her family all had the Rona in the last few weeks. And she did really well. She got through it with just something over the counter. Hey, Lisa. Lisa's here. And she says, hi, everyone. She was so worried about the pregnancy and everything. She did go up to the hospital and they did do an IV so she could have plenty of fluids because she was probably a little bit dehydrated. She was sick for quite a while. She felt terrible, but she didn't want to take a bunch of medication that might hurt the baby. Bling had it in June of 2019. Oh my goodness. Christy says, I'm in Australia where we have only just reopened shops after 4 months. Wow. Yeah, I've seen some weird videos, Christy, about Australia. It looks like they're really rough on people who are out and about during the lockdown. Lisa says, my son's stepmother was in the hospital with it and her stepmother passed. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. That is tragic. Christy said, yep, fines of $2,000. Wow. Star Mama says, I don't believe anything I can't see proof of. We get misled so much about the virus. I agree with you, Star Mama. I think it's interesting how we get so many conflicting stories. And it's all about fear. That's the part that really bothers me. It just, I don't know. And another part that bothers me is that the pharmaceuticals are getting insanely rich off of it. Christy says choppers were out most nights looking for people breaking curfew. Wow. That would be creepy to have choppers flying around looking for citizens. I mean, come on. Isn't that weird? Cosmo says that, in my opinion, the number of deaths at the start were inflated. I have a close friend who just spent 6 days, I think, total in the hospital. And he was told he had COVID, but he actually doesn't believe he had COVID. I talked to him today and I thought, that's interesting. Lisa says, all I know is I take care of me with the vaccination, and still wear a mask. So what's newsworthy in the case of Christopher Watts? Anything newsworthy going on? Or is it all the same old, same old? Lisa says, most people here don't wear one. Where I live, nobody wears one. Nobody. Angela says, hi from Littleton, Colorado. Hi, Angela. Christy says, we have to wear masks, and I've had both shots, but because my kids have only had one shot so far, they can't go certain places. Wow. Star Mama says, a lot of people died from complications, not the actual virus. My granddaughter is a doctor. Cool. Cool that your granddaughter's a doctor, not that people are dying. Angela says, I don't wear a mask. Christy says, lots of newsworthy stuff, on Watts. All right, Christy, let's roll. Christy's going to fill us in on what's newsworthy on the Watts case. So let me guess. Someone's suing somebody, and then that somebody's suing somebody else, and that somebody else is suing somebody altogether different. That seems to be their script for the last few months, isn't it? I've talked to my lawyers, and my lawyer's this, and my lawyer's that, and give me money so I can pay for my lawyers. Like, yeah, if you're talking to lawyers, I'm thinking you're probably not talking about it on YouTube. Well, Angela says they're not reporting complications and deaths properly. I think there for a while, I think every death was COVID, wasn't it? Christy says, okay, I see that Simcast replied to you. Did she do another one? Did she do one response video or two response videos? Because I saw the one, and then I did that one, and then I saw her comment. She posted a comment in the underneath the response to her response. I think we've done like a couple of responses. I don't know. I'm losing track. I was busy this week. But if she did another one, I haven't seen it yet. Oh, she replied again? Oh, I hope she was nice. Angela says, yes. What happened to stroke, heartache, flu? A friend of mine asked a question one time that I thought was interesting quite a while ago. He said, what is the disease that's killing people 1 month after they're put into long-term care? And you know what? I don't know. You guys aren't as old as I am. So you probably don't have that many friends who are older, but I did notice there were a lot of people being put in long-term care, and then 1 month later, they were dead. What's that about? Oh, good. Christy said that Simcast was nice. Good. That's a good thing. Lisa says, I don't know Simcast. I'll have to check it out. She has a good channel, Lisa, and she also she does cooking videos too. So she has a really good channel. She and I don't agree on anything, but she's easy to talk to. Lisa said, I've heard once you're intubated, it's over. I don't know if that's true. Christy says, I actually don't like her, MM. Well, there's only one thing that I had some hesitancy about, and that was the other day she played audio from October 30th or 31st or November 2nd or something of 2020. And I thought that was kind of interesting that she would have had access to that. You know what I'm saying? So that kind of gives me the EBGBs a little bit, that I think, yeah. But besides that, I enjoy her videos. MJ's here. Hey, MJ. MJ says, hi, all. Red Shoes is here and says, hello, all. Finally caught alive. All right, here's Dolo. I don't like her either, Christy. What is it you guys don't like? I don't know. I haven't watched that many videos, but when I saw that she did one with my name in the title, of course, I watched that. But I don't know. For quite a few months, I've watched her stuff off and on. So maybe I've missed some things. I don't know. But that did kind of make me wonder, like, that audio that she included in one of her videos was a year old. So I thought, yeah, because you know my opinion about how everyone's organized and parts of teams and scripts and all that stuff, right? So when she included a 1-year-old audio clip, I thought, yeah. And I'm so friggin' gullible, right? Oh, good. Lisa said Thought Provoking did a new video on SW. Good. Christy said, shit. What did FR say? Something like, quote, killed by the evil woman. Yeah, I don't know exactly either, but I remember that. Was that at the court hearing? Oh, it was the sentencing. Yep. Killed by the evil woman. Yeah. But you know, he knows the truth. I want to check out thought-provoking videos. Let's see here. Let's see if we can pick up audio. Although that's usually not one with narration. Oh, that's funny. I just clicked on YouTube, and this live chat showed up front and center. I'm like, oh, there we are. Okay, thought-provoking videos. If there isn't any sound, I'll just talk us through it. That'll be nice and boring. Here's one from 2 days ago. Oh, interesting title. And here's another one from 1 week ago that looks interesting too, that I haven't seen. Interesting. I'm going to go to the one from a week ago first. It says Christopher Watt's wife, except it doesn't say Christopher Watt's wife. Live stream, talking to viewers. Signs of personality disorders. Whoa. Let's see if we can take a look. Okay, it says this is Christopher Watt's wife's, except it doesn't say that. Live stream, talking to viewers, signs of personality disorders. I'm reading what's on the screen. It says, this channel has many videos supporting the assertion that Christopher Watt's wife fit the criteria for both narcissistic and antisocial personality disorders. What about bipolar? What about Munchausen by proxy? It says some of the evidence presented was from her live stream videos. Oops, it's going faster than I'm reading. Hold on. Got to go back to that one. I'm going to stop it here. Okay, there. Some of the evidence presented was from her live streamed videos doing activities with her husband and daughters. In this live stream of Christopher Watt's wife talking to her work, I'm doing air quotes, related audience, how they can keep on calling that MLM or any MLM work is just disgusting. It continues, I believe aspects of her disordered personality also come through. It says Christopher Watt's wife's quote-unquote work and her social media life were all about promoting, and then it says one of the MLMs she signed up for, a line of nutritional supplement products sold by a multi-level marketing operation. It says the first purpose of this video is to support the view that Christopher Watt's wife, not Chris Watts, had the personality dysfunction associated with filicide. What about Munchausen by proxy? Hello. It says the other purpose is for us to learn about how a person's problem attitudes can come through, even when it seems they are saying, quote, all the right things. Oh, and then it has a thing about narcissistic personality disorder, a lack of empathy, a need for admiration, self-centered, manipulative, demanding, grandiose fantasies. Yeah, sign up for a bunch of MLMs. Seeks excessive admiration and attention and has difficulty tolerating criticism or defeat. And then it talks about the charismatic air. And it talks about antisocial personality disorder, consistently violate the rights of others. There's a history of irresponsible behavior and often trouble with the law. It says Christopher Watt's wife had some brushes with the law, showed recklessness with money, evidence of alcohol substance overuse, and she lied about things like physical conditions. And don't forget that nursing program. Other signs of APD were present, such as in her over-the-top exploitation of Chris and the girls. Her father, oops, it went faster than I can read. Her father said she had always been a, quote, physical fighter. Really? Isn't that interesting? It says Christopher Watt's wife had a date set in family court, and there are unofficial accounts that her time alone with the girls had been limited due to an incident. And I'll elaborate on that. We've been told that the incident occurred in December of 2016. And in my opinion, if true, she should have been behind bars. It continues, quote, this would explain why they had been in private daycare prior to school age. And I'll add to that why she never went anywhere with the kids, why she never took them to the park, why there are no videos at all of her actually doing things with the girls. Except, it seems, sitting in the driveway. It says, I wish to state Christopher Watt's wife would have suffered these disorders that, in my opinion, were so severe she could have been treated as a psychiatric inpatient. I think she was. I don't think that was her first rodeo. I really don't. I think when she went ballistic at Cindy Watt's house, I don't think that behavior was all that unusual for her. And remember, in the spring of 2016, she claimed that she spent a month or a month and a half in Indianapolis and went to the hospital on a daily basis. The video continues, we are fortunate if we can learn from these videos. And then it talks about narcissistic and antisocial traits sometimes do coexist. And the creator says that she believes 100% that she had both. Missing empathy for others, I think that's obvious in her videos. A tendency to lie, like all the time. And substance abuse. I love that music. Here's a picture of poor little Bella getting sprayed in the eyes. And then the Whack-A-Daddy video. It says, while fast-talking multi-level marketing work, please, can appeal to narcissism in a person as antisocial traits that will really drive them to very unethical ways of achieving their work. I just can't stand the word work associated with any MLM. I don't know anybody who signs up for an MLM and calls it work. I mean, come on. How to send your family into bankruptcy, you know? Ugh. And then it talks about the MLMs and antisocial personality disorder. And it says, as is often the case with personality disorders, Christopher Watt's wife's descriptions of her life were often vague and even contradictory as she worked, there's that word again, to give a narrative that made her blameless. Oh, of course, right? And supposedly she and her first mother-in-law got along fabulously. I don't believe that for a second. I bet the first mother-in-law was like, hallelujah, son. Hallelujah. How fast can you get that divorce? The video continues, even an attempt to be genuine might have been very hard for her, as she likely was confused about her experiences. I think all those lies are probably hard to keep track of. I read that one fast because I thought it went faster, and now it's sitting there. Okay, here we go. In this live stream, Christopher Watt's wife describes her personal issues and how the MLM helped her overcome blah, blah, blah. Christopher Watt's wife will begin with how she loves helping people. Yeah, I think she loved helping people out of their money. And we'll come back to that, but never specifies what kind of help she offers exactly.
I'm cleaning while the kids are sleeping. So you guys are probably, some of you are
oh, that's like, cute. I'm going to stop this a second. Her video started and she said that she's I think she said she was eating. I'm not sure what she said at first. She said, well, the kids are sleeping. Let me guess. They were sleeping at daycare? Was that their nap time at daycare?
Shenan's post. She's going to talk about Thrive again, and she's going to do this, and she's going to do that. But because I wanted to talk to you guys about...
That's interesting. She's talking in the third person. Don't we hear that a lot from the scumbag attackers? Oh, they talk in the third person.
I love helping people.
Oh, she loves helping people.
I felt very insecure. Didn't feel good about myself. I wasn't happy. That relationship really took a lot from me.
It took my my confidence. It took everything.
All the doubts, all the fears.
She's talking about her first marriage, saying it took a lot from her. Really? I'm thinking not.
Everything that I had in me all came flooding back into my life.
The video says Christopher Watt's wife says that with the failed marriage flooded back all her fears and insecurities that were in her, indicating a long-term self-esteem problem. Oh, those eyebrows. The video says Christopher Watt's wife often referred to having lost everything to her first husband. Like, lost what? Yet she's never specified any abuse. Yet remember, she belonged to that spousal abuse support group. And divorce records seem to show she lost interest in the marriage. I think more accurately, she stopped going home at night.
Feel good about myself again, and it was a lot to do. I still didn't even feel good about myself. I was still insecure. I was afraid to wear certain clothes because I felt like I was too heavy, even though sometimes I wish I was that size again.
It says, let's dwell on that detail. Christopher Watt's wife tells us about her past insecurity about her body. Yet she just admitted she preferred her size then to when this video was made. Which, by the way, I want to interject here. According to Cindy Watts, she was very heavy when Christopher Watts met her. When Christopher Watts met her, she was super heavy, and Christopher Watts was actually fit and going to the gym every day. The video says, so which is it? If she is now happy about her body, why did she just pine for her past body? Well, I think she's lying. I think she's failing to admit that she was very heavy when she met him. And then it says part of this inconsistency is the push to sell the MLM products, which promises weight loss. But this also alerts us that she was still dissatisfied about her shape, and likely her shaky self-esteem is propped up entirely by the prestige of being a helper.
I'm not happy with myself. I didn't feel good about myself. I ignored his friend request. My friend sent us both a friend suggestion for each other.
Oh, now she's claiming that Chris was pursuing her on Facebook. I don't believe that for a second.
Didn't need anything about him. I didn't want him.
I don't believe that for a second. I think that she's the one who targeted him. It says the cold and precise way she states having seen no advantage in knowing Chris would be the antisocial personality disorder coming through.
God for a better man. I couldn't have asked God for a better man.
That's interesting. Yvonne points out the difference. Not I thank God, but, quote, I couldn't have asked God for a better man. And she says not the same.
Because he's so supportive. He takes care of me. He's becoming funnier in his old age, I tell him. He's sexy, he's good looking, and he does take care of our girls. Like, he's probably the best father I could have asked for my children.
She says that Christopher Watts is supportive, takes care of her, is becoming funnier in his old age. Yeah, he was 33. She says he's sexy and good looking and he does take care of our girls. The video says this list reveals Christopher Watts' wife's tendency to be superficial and self-serving, but also objectifying, demeaning, and hinting at a shirking of responsibilities. I just saw how long this video is. It's a long one. So that's the beginning of it, but you guys can watch the rest of it on your own. Sorry. I have more fun going through the comment threads. I can't stand watching her videos anymore because she has that smile, right? Like, hey, I'm here. Made it through my health challenges and, that nursing program was probably rough, and I'm kidding. Wow, you guys have been talking. Ooh, I missed it. Okay, let's back it up here. Let's see. Christy does a thumbs up and says, yep. And Lisa says, what the heck? And Star Mama says, SR said winners of Crowdcast raffle in Australia cannot get their prizes because they cannot ship to them right now. Sorry, Star Mama. That's a funny comment. Christy says, yes, he does. SW. Red Shoe says, I'm lost. Well, you came to the right place then, Red Shoe. So are we. You Are My Sunshine says, Sandy also mentioned the people responsible in the victim statement. Ooh, in plural, huh? The people responsible. Lisa says, Star Mama, I don't think they're allowed to receive packages yet. Star Mama says, Christy, amazing what we're catching. Lots of love. Lisa says, yep, she threw caution to the wind with this one. Laid it all on the table. Lisa says, antisocial. Christy says, it is, Paula. reviewed FRJ interview. She needs to listen and comment on FR seniors. Star Mama says, Lisa, oh, okay, I got a package mailed to me from there. Lisa says, right, maybe they can mail out, not receive. My ex lives there. Star Mama says, Christy, OMG, F Jr. was mind-blowing, catching what he said. What was it he said when he heard the truck back into the garage? Really? He heard the truck back into the garage. Red Shoes is getting a big laugh out of the word nutritional. Christy says, yes, it was, Paula. I like it when does a commentary. Bella says, hi, lovelies. I caught alive. Woo! Lisa says, I did a whole post on Reddit about 6 months ago. I did a whole post on this on Reddit about 6 months ago. Star Mama says, LMOO. It cures disease, mood, and sleep issues. I just can't go there. Christy says, I reckon we are getting really close to the truth. I say, yep, NPD without a doubt. I think she had either bipolar or schizophrenia, and I think she had Munchausen by proxy. I think your personality disorders are minor compared to the Munchausen by proxy. Christy hates the music. Aw, I love piano music. Lisa says, I don't think she was charismatic, but plenty of others do. I don't think I would not have bought anything from her. I would have watched 3 minutes of one of her videos and gone, blech, what the hey? And that video made a good point. Thought-provoking videos made a very good point. She's always saying, I love to help people. Help them what? Help them out of their money? Star Mama says, oh, the music is dreadful. Oh, my goodness, really? I liked it. Christy says, me neither, Lisa. Paris says, I've always been super curious. What exactly is your theory on this case? Red Shoe says, is that for when she slammed Bella against a wall, or was it Cece? I was told it was Cece and that there was an actual dent in the wall. Yeah. Lisa says Cece. Star Mama says, Parrish, you must be new here, or you would know what MM thinks. Yeah, notice how I just glossed over that. I love it when they come in with another fake profile and then try to, feign ignorance. Not that they're not ignorant, but you know what I'm saying. Christy says, good point, Paula. Lisa says, that's my dad. You Are My Sunshine says, where did you hear she slammed one of the girls against the wall? Oh, I don't know, in 2018, people were passing around photos of the damage to the wall, and evidently Christopher Watts told, was it his cousin? All about it. Red Shoe says, good Lord, the music. You guys don't like the music? Seriously? Huh. Jackie the Interrupter says, shooting water in Bella's ears when Bella had just had ear tube surgery. Yeah, so much for all the, need for surgery for two girls on the same day, right? Let's go ahead and douse her tubes with some water. I didn't see any earplugs in there. Did you? Because the earplugs when you get tubes in your ears are kind of obvious. Christy says, the music sucks. Oh, I'm so far out of the loop, you guys. I could listen to that music all day. Star Mama says, I remember when Cece supposedly hit the sidewalk. Yeah, remember that? And she had a bruised hand, remember? She showed the picture of her bruised hand. And she said she saved her. I don't think so. That goose egg didn't look like anyone saved her. I think that was June something of 2018. And remember the day before, poor little Cece landed on the cement face first, or head first, that she made a comment that she was ready to kill someone if she didn't get one of her MLM products in her mouth. Remember? Red Shoe says, I can't read it. Hold on. Covered it before. Possible incident that led to court action. Well, think about it. Why did that one nurse, who was supposedly a friend, but I don't think so, I think she was a caregiver, why did she suddenly disappear from her life? According to Cindy Watson, I believe her, she never mentioned that friend again. Wait a minute. She worked at the hospital that people are claiming was where they caught Christopher Watts' wife. And again, if true, why wasn't she behind bars? Cosmo says, I found pics of the girls in some positions and undress. Disturbing. Very disturbing. And like I said in the video that I uploaded yesterday morning, society let those poor babies down. Jackie says she had bipolar. I think it was either bipolar or schizophrenia. Star Mama says, Christy, the music does suck. Oh, I'm the minority. Paris says, it's got to scroll up a second. Paris says, there it is. Paris says, not new, Star, just have never been able to piece together exactly what is the theory of what happened on that day. Yeah. TH says, Cosmo, I found those pics odd. I thought pics like that are not supposed to be put online. One would think. Red Shoe says, Jackie, that was after her surgery? OMG. Jackie says she paid for her ex to go to law school. And then she followed it up with baloney. Or the way Miss Mensa says it is, Bullshit. Exactly. He would have had that covered with his service for the country. And remember, she stopped coming home before he was a lawyer. Christy says, well, Paris, it all depends on who you ask. We are all of slightly differing opinions. Star Mama says, yes, those pics were disturbing. So were a lot of things about Christopher Watt's wife. I'm scrolling here. Whenever you hear me hesitate, it's because I'm trying to figure out the little arrow thing. Christy says, yeah, right. Cosmo says, TH, I thought of something else going on. Just saying. Jackie says, histrionic personality disorder, seeks attention, talks dramatically with strong opinions, is easily influenced. I'm not sure she was easily influenced. I think she had no clue how to act. And so she was like a chameleon, just copying other people because she didn't know how to be an adult. Has rapidly changing emotions and thinks relationships are closer than they are. Yeah. What's that bit about firing everyone in the bridal party and having someone she just met be her maid of honor or her bridesmaid? Oh, she's a nurse. She's my friend. Yeah, right. Sure she was. She wasn't a caregiver. No. Red Shoes says, Cosmo, has MM covered the photos? Red Shoes has a laughing, crying, smiley face. Jackie says, loves helping people except her own kids. Yeah. Oh, you want a laptop? What do we do when you want something? You put it on your vision board. Lisa says, yep. Paris says, I was asking the host, but definitely interested in hearing all theories. Okay, Paris. You know what? If you want to join in the discussion, feel free. But if you put up another post that seems kind of snaky, I'm going to block you. Just saying. Just, a heads up for you. Lisa says, it's a lie. Christy says, I watched a video called The Slave Circle about MLMs. It was fascinating. Were there a lot of people helping people? Star Mama says, I'm surprised the dog wasn't abused. Or was he? I think he was. Cindy Watts told me how 3 days after Cindy Watts' dog had some diagnosis of some back condition, then all of a sudden Dieter supposedly had it. Really? I don't know. Maybe she was able to get some pain pills for Dieter. You know what I'm saying? Wink, wink. Cosmo says, Red Shoes, not sure. I saw elsewhere. Christy says, so true, Jackie. Jackie says, eyebrows are sisters, not twins. Lisa says, possibly, Star Mama. Christy's cracking up laughing. Hey, Three of a Kind. Three of a Kind says, hi, ladies. Hi, MM. Red Shoe says, poor guy was clueless, never stood a chance. Wish we could hear his side of their abusive marriage. I bet you his mom is probably like, oh, thank God, son. Thank God. I'm so glad that you saw the light. She's probably calling Cindy Watts going, honey, I'm so sorry. You poor thing. Three of a Kind says, Star Mama wasn't abused. That poor baby was the most abused of all. Jackie says, Star Mama, the dog was abused on her live. He was struggling for 10 minutes in the suffocating fabric. Christy says, this is all part of the MLM script. Lisa says, plus he was crated in the basement a lot. Exactly. And don't forget, if that dog doesn't stop barking, I'm going to go strangle it before he wakes up the kids and I strangle the dog. Yeah, that sentence makes sense. Jackie says, super heavy. Three of a Kind says, Jackie, that video incensed me. She had such a sadistic streak. It was awful to watch. Star Mama says, Paris wants to know what you think happened the day of the murders. Just telling you since they want the host to answer. Christy says, you need a wrench, Paula. Three of a Kind says, I can't stand her voice and listening to her lies. I know it. Just that little bit of time that was like a minute of her actually doing the, oh, I love helping people. And, Chris was chasing her down, right? But she didn't want to have anything to do with him. Yeah, bullshit. Bullshit. It's like, ooh. It's just like the Santa Claus video, the Whack-A-Daddy video, all of them. I just can't watch them. I can't watch those poor little dears crying, being taunted, tormented, called names. It's so disgusting. And like I said in the video that I uploaded yesterday morning, I'll say it again. Why did society let Bella and Cece down? I mean, it's not like she was shy about what she was pulling. She put it right online. So why didn't society protect poor little Bella and Cece? Why? And why is it that we're the only channel talking about Bella and Cece? Why? Red Shoe says, Christy, that sounds really interesting. Might be good to review it here together. Might shed some light on the case. Star Mama says, Jackie, oh yes, I forgot that. But remember her going to kill the dog if he woke the girls. Exactly. Christy says, we don't have them in Australia, but it's about the MLM who peddle crap in the middle of stores. Angela says, it's cringy. Star Mama says, Christy, I'll pass on that. You can have the job. Christy says, I can't either, MM. Nails on a chalkboard. Especially those nails, right? Oh. Did she ever wash a dish? Seriously? And come on. Red Shoe says, Christy, they're like cults. Three of a Kind says, I can just imagine what she did to that sweet defenseless baby if he ever barked and woke the girls. I shudder to think. Jackie says, We counted like 81 ums in one video. Yeah, she was so brilliant. Christy says, no thanks, Star Mama. Too much power play goes on, and I want MM to still like me. Three of a Kind says, oh, the ums. Three of a Kind says, count the ums. It's unbelievable how many times she says it. And another one is Christopher Watts says the word like he's a 12-year-old girl trying to fit into a group of girls that say like all the time, Sandy says, hey, Bobs, I'm here listening while doing the dishes. I won't be in chat much. Christy says, bingo. Elo says, don't let anyone with bad eyebrows tell you about life. I'm going to put that one up on the screen. Autumn's Dance says, I'm coming in here late, but I'd just like to say that Kyle Rittenhouse is innocent. And let's go, Brandon. And Fauci can pound sand. LOL. Okay, now on to Chris Watts. Oh, and hello, Bobs. LOL. Lots of love. Red Shoe says, what? FR spilling the beans? I've missed so much. It was FRJ, Red Shoes, and he said that he said in his police interview, or sounded more like a counseling session, he said that when he heard Chris backing the truck into the garage, so, we're like, what did he just say? Did he just say that? And yeah, that's what he said. Mrs. Fluffer's here, and she says, hey, guys. And then Mrs. Fluffer said, hell no. Autumn says, I think SW was a narcissist. Oh, I think she was bipolar or schizophrenic. I think she was definitely a Munchausen by proxy medical abuser. And I think she had probably whatever personality disorders that suited her fancy, depending on which mood she was in. Cosmo says, sorry, those ums did me in. Angela says, I would think Munchausen by proxy are narcissists. They're something. Christy says, I noticed. Star Mama says, hey, Mrs. Fluffer. Autumn says, I agree, Angela. Christy says, oh, Mrs. Fluffer is here. Hi. Mrs. Fluffer says, I'm scrolling. Mrs. Fluffer says, in some videos, SW has darting eyes and says constantly. Is that too many meds or not enough? Or maybe she's in some sort of a psychotic dance. I don't know. Mrs. Fluffer says, hi, or it looks like, I'm not sure what it says. Hey, Star Mama. Three of a Kind says, Cosmo, me too. She's unbearable to listen to, and some people say she's charismatic. Charismatic, my toe. Baloney. Mrs. Fluffer says, hi, Christy. Paris says, oh, here we go. Blah, 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 blah. Not even going to read it. Okay. Christy says, over to you, Paula. Paula says, I'm willing to bet LK will speak out one day. LK? Did you mean NK? Who is LK? I think that Bella may have meant to say I don't know. Christy says, where's Susie? Yeah, where's Susie? She says, where's Susie when we need her with her emojis? Cosmo says at 3, yep, I run when I hear too many like and you know words. You do? Yeah. Yeah, both girls were in the emergency room. And I can't remember what one of them had. But she'll just have to get through it. Do you guys want me to teach you how to peel an egg? Red Shoe says it's just horrific how she got away with it. There you have it. Red Shoe says, yes, the nurse. Mrs. Fluffer says, yeah, Susie is so funny. She is. I hope she pops in here. Christy says, MM sounds really happy today. I am, Christy. But because of all the scumbag attackers, you know, all the bullshit, I can't share with you why. But good ear, Christy. Good ear. Red Shoe says, Bella, who's LK? Yeah, I think she meant NK. She'll tell us in a minute. Red Shoe says, yeah, I reckon NK is traumatized, freaked out, and hiding. Autumn says she needed a caregiver, and I think she had plenty of caregivers, and I think the caregivers let her down in August of 2018, for sure. Bean Feather says, Lady Justice, don't play. Mrs. Fluffer says, we need to know what was the family matter and who told on her. I think the family matter was to terminate her rights altogether. I think she was supposed to be moving out that day, and I think she had help there for her moving day. I think the gig was up. What I was told was that while in North Carolina, they had social workers checking on her routinely to make sure that she was following the rules and that she didn't follow the rules, and the upcoming court hearing was going to take away her rights. Here's an interesting comment. Red Shoes says the Watts should take a civil case against the Roos and their doctors for over-medicating and medical abuse. Their medical reports will still be on record. Interesting. Three of a Kind noticed I sound chirpy tonight. Yes, I do feel chirpy. Chirpy is good. I wish I could tell you guys, but I can't. But yeah, I think it's cool that you guys hear it. Although that makes me wonder, do I sound like sad the other nights or something? Well, plus I'm having a large coffee too. So I might sound a little bit like I'm having a large coffee. A little bit hyped. Because it's not that brilliant of me to be drinking coffee at this time of night. In fact, that's why we're doing a live chat, because I thought, boing! After I started drinking my coffee, I'm like, okay, I'm awake. I'm going to do a live chat. Christy says, I'm done. And she's laughing. Star Mama says, hey, Christy, get done with that shower. We need a watchdog. I think I read that already. Sorry. Red Shoe says, SR really hated the Watts. I think she really hated Cindy from the sounds of things. Christy says, $1 million question, isn't it? Yeah, I did. How did you know, Sandy? How did you know? Because you know what? I went up and got it from the little coffee bar thing. And the coffee that I get was pretty much almost empty. So I did put a little extra chocolate in there, which I shouldn't have, but I did. Red Shoe says, MM. I can't see it. What is it? Can I make it bigger? I'm too lazy to grab my glasses out of my purse. Let me see what that, I'm making it bigger. So I can, oh, I think I can make it bigger. Is that like a penguin or something? I'm not sure what that is. Okay. Autumn says, yes, SR started the hate campaign against Cindy, in my opinion. I'm thinking so too with that letter. And not just SR, but everybody. Look at the friend who I think was a caregiver who said, yeah, I'm not sure what her name was. Really? She didn't even know Christopher Watt's mother's name. The oh, Chirpy. Oh, duh. Oh, that was cute. That was cute. And I'm sitting here going, is that a penguin? But yeah, it wasn't just SR. It was all of them, everybody. They're like, oh yeah, I'm not sure what her name is. Of course, she didn't have a clue how old Christopher Watt's wife was either, so I guess I shouldn't be surprised. But you know, how many times did we hear in all of those interviews of, oh, she didn't go to the wedding? Well, neither did the entire Watts clan. But I guess that would have been too embarrassing to admit, right? Yeah, nobody in his side of the family evidently supported that marriage. That might have been a little bit too embarrassing. And do you guys know how few people were at that wedding? Very few. Very few. And it was at least her second wedding. Just because she wanted to go all out with that white dress and pretend whatever didn't mean it was the wedding of the century. Autumn says, yep, they knew Cindy would tell the truth, so they had to start crap about her. I think there was a lot of jealousy going on, too. I really do. I think there was a huge bunch of jealousy going on. Because I'm making it back to the normal size now. Well, two things. I think they don't want anyone to believe anything that Cindy says, because I think Cindy knows things that none of the others want her to be talking about. So I think they're trying to discredit her in a way so that if she does tell what she knows, then everyone's going to be like, oh, yeah, she's a liar, you know? I'll tell you what I think about the whole dynamic of all the negative things that have been said about Cindy Watts. You know, there for a while, back in 2018, people were going on and on, wah, that Christopher Watt's sister hadn't even met Bella until the summer of 2018. Or no, not Bella. Hadn't even met Cece until the summer of 2018. There was one crappy post after another. oh, Jamie's terrible because she didn't even bother to meet Cece, and she hadn't seen Bella since Bella was 10 months old. Okay. Frankie had never met Cece. Frankie hadn't seen Bella since she was 8 months old, I think it was, right? Or no, possibly 1 year old. He wasn't sure the last time he saw her. He didn't know if it was her birthday or not, her first birthday. He wasn't sure. Bella was almost 5. So why were there so many hate-filled scumbag attacker videos posted saying that Jamie didn't care about the kids because he had or she had never even met Cece and she hadn't seen Bella since Bella was a baby? Well, neither had Frankie. But when it comes to Frankie, what we're told is, oh, they were so close, they were together all the time. When? When were they together all the time? Because it seems to me like 4 years went by. It seems to me like he had just met Bella and Cece. He had just met them. So why was everybody attacking Jamie and then pretending, evidently, that Frankie was always around? You know, that's the kind of thing, the double standard in this case is just ridiculous. How many times have we seen, you know, treat the family well, respect the family, blah, 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 right on the heels of scumbag attackers posting the crappiest videos about the Watts family? And that's when I started speaking up about it. And I started saying, respect the family? Well, guess what? Ronnie and Cindy Watts are the grandparents of Bella and Cece, as far as we know. They're family. But I haven't seen any respect for Ronnie and Cindy or Jamie. Like I said, Jamie was, you know, raked over the coals for months because she hadn't even met Cece. Well, Frankie hadn't either. But we're told they were together all the time, so we're just supposed to go, oh, okay. Oh, okay. Yeah, we'll go ahead and keep on believing whatever they say, right? No. If Frankie had never met Cece, then who the hell is anybody to say anything about Jamie having never met Cece? Cole is wondering if they're blocked because I'm not taking the bait of going off topic on every direction. Yes, Cole, we can see you. Autumn says, yep, FRJ had pistachios laying around and SR could make pesto with pine nuts. Such BS. Exactly. Cosmo says, glaring contradictions all around us. Well, you know, I think it's interesting because so many times channel creators will say, oh, she's bashing Christopher Watt's wife. They miss the point of our discussions here. We are pissed at how poor little Bella and Cece Watts were abused. We're pissed about it. We're not okay with it. We're angry that those videos were posted, those photos were posted, those evidences of such a lack of parenting skills. And that's being kind. Was posted all over social media. And nobody did anything to protect Bella and Cece? Rectal temps? Are you kidding me? Familial Mediterranean fever? Oh, another specialist. Oh, they got to have surgery. Oh, spray the water right in her eyes and laugh about it. Cole says, I didn't mean to offend in any way. Well, good. Autumn says, well, it's look over at the Watts, not the R's, just to get everyone on the R side. And I find it very interesting that the R's claim they're being harassed while the Watts are being harassed. I know quite a few people have said now that they've asked for evidence of any harassment at all. And so far, they haven't seen any evidence of any harassment. Yet, FRJ committed defamation and libel against me multiple times. Well, he says he's being harassed. Sorry. I don't think somebody who is harassing others and committing defamation and committing libel has any room at all to pretend that somebody's harassing them. If somebody is harassing them, I would think in the last 3 years they would have shown evidence that somebody is harassing them. Instead, we're told repeatedly by FRJ that he's being harassed. And again, while he himself is the one posting lies about those of us he's attacking. Jackie says some of the men on SW's MLM team look like chomos. Probably joined just to see all the sadistic videos. Ooh. Ooh. That's scary. HCN says, did you already talk about what moving day theory is? I just got here, scrolled back. No, moving day theory was like 3 or 4 live chats ago. I think that she was moving that day. I think she was out of the house. And I really think that it was a real eye-opener to listen to the FRJ police interview when he said that he heard Chris backing the truck into the driveway. Yes, Cosmo. The pics of poor little Bella on the exam table with her back exposed. Hey, world, everybody stare at my kid, naked. I think that anything they had going on medically was caused by their mother. I think she was putting things in the nebulizer to create a breathing difficulty. I think she was on disability from a very young age, and I think she was doing her damnedest to get the girls on disability too. Maybe that's what she helped people do. Maybe she helped other people figure out how to get on disability. Autumn says, do you think that he was referring to seeing the video first from Nate? No, I don't. I think when his father gets right online and says that he knows the truth, but we're never going to know the truth because they don't tell people like us, what that tells me is we've been lied to. Karen says she should have been out of the house. She wouldn't listen to what Chris was telling her. I think she had to be out of the house. And you know what? I think when Ronnie and Cindy offered to go to Colorado with him on the return trip, I think they knew that it was moving day. Autumn says they can't handle the truth, as Jack Nicholson would say. Well, that isn't harassment. Autumn says harassing them is saying the truth. Exactly right. That end of the driveway speech, saying that they're not on social media, even though, guess what? They were. And saying that harassment meant that people they knew were sending them things that they saw online. That is not harassment. If they're being harassed, the only people harassing them are the people who are sending them things. It is not harassment to have a true crime case discussion either. And it isn't slander either. Hello. I'm so tired of hearing people go, oh, you're slandering a dead woman. There's no such thing. Google it, for Pete's sake. It's been 3 years. That's a good point, Autumn. He said heard the truck, not saw it. That's a good point. I caught up on comments. I don't think I missed too many of them. Jackie says SW cut Bella's hair, starved and drugged her, and put essential oils in their nebulizers to make them sick. I think her goal was to get the fattest disability check she could get to keep up with her spending. I have a different theory too. I think that main floor room that she called her office, I think that was actually her bedroom, and I think that's where they kept her. I don't think that her behavior was always under control. I think they kept her in that little room. If we have any multi-gazillionaires in the chat, email me at missmensa@gmail.com. I think we should buy that house and get a forensic team in there. I say we. You can buy it, but give me access to it. We can get a team together and run our own investigation. Mrs. Fluffer says, so where was FRJ in the house on the doorbell video? Do you think he and Chris talked together? That's why FRJ wasn't mad? Well, I'm curious why he said at the beginning of that police interview, this will help my sister, right? She was already dead at that point. So this will help my sister, right? Help what? Help cover up some secret about what really happened? I don't know. Karen says bad juju. Autumn says, okay, you get a check and you get a check. Yeah, maybe that's what she did. She probably went to those support groups with all the fake illnesses, right? She's probably like, hey, sign up here. I can help you. This is what you do. You need to get on disability. HCN says drank so child would have fetal alcohol disabilities galore. Do you think that it's possible that Bella did? Yep, he could come in the back. No cameras. Lots of cigarette butts out there, but no cameras. Exactly, Red Shoes. Autumn says that would be great. Yes, it would. It would. If I was a multi-gazillionaire, I would have bought that house by now. Jackie says, took the MLM products when pregnant with Cece and told others it was safe to take them while pregnant. Yeah, she really cared about people's health, didn't she? Oh, she was so virtuous. She really cared about helping people. Here, take this. It's safe. And remember the one, too, where she didn't have the label on the product and she's like, oh, it's safe to eat if you have a nut allergy. Wonder how many people who actually did have nut allergies went into an actual episode of anaphylactic shock. Not epileptic shock, anaphylactic shock. Boy, this coffee really woke me up. I should have not gotten a tall coffee tonight. I'm going to be awake for a while. It's already 12:30. Or no, it's 10:30. Oh, okay, I feel better. I got to make my screen bigger. I'm like, 12:30 already? Star Mama says, no camera in the back. Maybe at Nate's? Guessing. Autumn says, get away with murder. HCN says, well, we know her toxicology report said her back, what? Oh, her BAC level. Got it. Yeah. Oh, but that was due to decomposition. Yeah. She had a coffin birth too. Yep. And she was highly successful. And she was a retired nurse, right? Three of a Kind says the R's are proven pathological liars, just like SW. Lying most likely became second nature and normal growing up in the household. Star Mama says, I keep thinking FR said I'm the only one who knows what happened and I will never tell. Why? Yeah, please tell us what really happened. And there's a simple thing with logic and reason, and that is that if somebody says to you, you're never going to know the truth, what they're also saying is, ha, 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 we're lying, right? We're lying to you. If somebody says you will never know the truth, I know the truth, but you'll never know the truth because they don't tell people like you, then what that is actually saying is you are listening to lies. So, okay, there's 61 of us here, so one of you for sure has the wherewithal to hop on a plane. Let's go to Colorado and buy that sucker. I know a couple of really cool retired detectives who are very young still, of course, the 20 and out routine. They would love a project like this. Oh my gosh, and they'd be great at it. That's right, Star Mama. She made $500,000 a year at age 22. She sure did. And that's why she was flat broke most of her life. And signing up for multi-level marketing companies. Autumn says SW was always lit. You can tell by her eyes. I wondered that with a few of the videos for sure. Did you see the one where she has Christopher Watts holding a bottle of beer and a mixed drink? And she's like, oh, yeah, those are both his because she was pregnant at the time. Yeah, right. Red Shoes, they probably think they've scrubbed it clean by now. Karen says, poor FJ. So gullible. You think he's gullible? I don't know. He doesn't sound too gullible when he's calling people old hags and wildebeests and stuff like that and lying about those of us he's attacking. He doesn't sound very gullible when he's acting like that. Three of a Kind says gullible or delusional, one of the two. Autumn says, I think she laundered money. That's how she got the house. I think she got the house with less than 5% down and with an income to debt ratio that was absolutely false. Yeah, working at a tire shop, made $500,000 a year. Yep. And wasn't she part owner? We've been told she was part owner. We've been told, and she wasn't, by the way. We've been told that she worked the counter. We've been told that she was working in the office. I mean, can anyone get their story straight with anything about this stupid case? Can anybody please get their lies straight? Like, pick a lie and stick to it. Because every time the lies change, morph into something even more ridiculous. Same thing with that supposed job at the hospital. I don't think she ever worked at the hospital because I don't think any hospital would have ever hired her. We're told she worked, the phones, whatever. We're told she was in human resource. I mean, the stories just never end. Cosmo says, I don't think he's gullible, just screwing up on script. Red Shoes, they don't take cash deposits. That's the story we've been told, but they don't take cash deposits. You have to be able to trace any monies that show up at the closing table, especially in 2009. That was right after the housing bubble burst. So, again, we're told so many stories. Ugh. You want to know the photo probably that says it the loudest is the day that the girls both had to have surgery, and she's sitting there wearing scrubs with one child on her lap, and she has her hand reached out touching the other child laying in the bed, the hospital bed. That photo tells you everything you need to know right there. Right there. Here, take my picture. Take my picture. I want to have a picture of me looking like I'm a nurse. Nurse Nay. Jeanette says, I couldn't sleep. No, and now I know why. You were meant to be here. Saint says, what does her LinkedIn say? Who knows? That's a good question. Probably that she's a retired nurse who's a highly successful executive with $1 billion company. Three of a Kind says, yes, that picture sticks out. It sure does. Just makes you want to puke. Oh, really? Ren says that they've raised the fundraising goal to 75 pounds. Oof. I wonder how much of that AD's getting on the backside. Red Shoe says, wonder what happened to the real nurse. I think she was a caregiver, and I think she stepped away after the December 2016 incident. Exactly, Mrs. Fluffer. In 2009, there's no way in hell she showed up with a suitcase with cash. That's bullshit. And even if she would have, gotten it into some sort of a cashier's check routine, mortgage companies and any lending institution, especially in 2009, they want to trace the funds. And it doesn't mean, oh, gee, Uncle Rich whoever, Rich Uncle whoever handed over a gift or whatever. No. Nope. In 2009, it was more strict than ever before. I think that she walked in with a bunch of lies about her income and debts. Christy says, you are the best, MM. Am I the best, Bob? Well, I'm in good company. And think about it, Cosmo. You know, showing up with a suitcase full of cold hard cash. Think about it. Who said that? Who told us that story, right? Where do all these lies come from? Oh, she had lupus. Well, then why the hell did her autopsy say she was healthy? Because if she had lupus for that many years, I'm thinking that the medical examiner would have picked up on it. If she had fibromyalgia, the medical examiner would have picked up on it. If she had celiac disease, there would have been evidence of it. The only thing they picked up on, besides the elevated BAC, 0.128, hello, twice the level, twice. Okay, remember, I think it was 255 people in the research for trying to decide this whole decomp elevated BAC routine. 255 subjects, 50 or 55 of them, so that would be 20%. That's 1 in 5. Only 1 in 5. That means 80% of the time, there is no evidence whatsoever of any elevated BAC due to the possibility of decomp, okay? 1 in 5 is a very low percentage. 1 in 5 out of those 50 or 55 subjects of that research study, their mean mode, I'm not sure what it was exactly, but the average BAC in 1/5 of the cases, 20% of the time, their average BAC was half the BAC level of Christopher Watt's wife at the time of her death. Do I think she was drunk? Yes, I do. Yes, I do. Do I think that front door video was actually the night before? No, I do not. Not at all. And if that, video, that if that camera was so alert, then why don't we have any other footage released? I think that video came from some other time, months or years before. I think she was drunk. I think she was pissed. And I think she knew that she had to move out. And I think she was mad. Red Shoe says the possible strangulation in the autopsy was bogus too. Where's her neck scar? Oh, gee, I don't know. Maybe she never had neck surgery. What's with the lack of bruising? Red Shoes is making a good point here. The possible strangulation in autopsy was bogus too. Think about that. There would have been bruising, right? He's got his hands around her neck and he's choking her out. There would have been bruising. Wouldn't there have been damage to the tissues? To the whatevers? I'm not a medical person. You guys know better than I do. And they're trying to say she didn't fight. I got news for you. Whether she wanted to fight or not, whether she was so depressed or suicidal or whatever or not, her body would have fought. Her body would have taken over. And she would have fought like hell. And remember, she's a fighter. Strong legs, right? Because she can really kick people. Lisa says the hyoid? No, it's not called the hyoid, but it's close. There's a letter missing, and I don't know what the letter is, Lisa. I think you're like 99% of the way there. Mrs. Fluffer says, yes, very drunk. Let's go out on a limb together, Mrs. Fluffer, because, I think we've been pussyfooting around that issue for 3 years. We've been told over and over again, oh, she wouldn't have had anything to drink while she was pregnant. Really? Then why was she always posting about booze? Why was she always posting about wine? Why was she always posting about meeting people for drinks? Yeah, she would have had a drink. And that picture of her showing Christopher Watts holding a mixed drink and a bottle of beer, do you know any guy who drinks a bottle of beer and a mixed drink at the same time? Exactly, Red Shoes. They never released any information about the DNA from Bella or Cece's fingernails. Mrs. Fluffer said, yes, you would see his prints around her neck. Exactly. Christy says, very, very mad. I think she was pissed. And I don't think it had anything at all to do with any girlfriend or any restaurant bill. And remember, her father said in his interview with law enforcement, she came home. He's saying that in a way, I mean, think about those words. She came home. Not she got home. Not whatever. She came home. What's that make you think? And then, of course, the law enforcement wanted to know, how did he know? Oh, right? What's the word, you guys? It's Red Shoes is saying the same thing that Lisa said, but that's not it. Is that what it is, really? Salon says all that booze is expensive, and you want to know something? The month that she stopped making the house payments, she was joining a friggin' wine MLM and encouraging other people to buy 6 bottles of wine. Woohoo! Lisa says it's hyoid. I thought there's another letter in there. Sorry. Exactly. There was no petechiae. Red Shoes says, and strangulation, asphyxiation causes rupture of blood vessels in the eyes. SR never presented with that. I think it's called petechiae. No evidence of petechiae. No bruising around her neck with his fingerprints. Have you guys ever known anyone who has been choked? The bruises, the fingerprints are obvious. And there's just no way. And even back to the other stuff, the celiac disease. Do you think an autopsy isn't going to pick up on celiac disease? Do you guys know what celiac disease is like? What'd she have? 1 gallstone? I'll tell you, that girl had a lot of gall, but I'll tell you something else. I don't think age 34 is the age that most people get gallstones. Let's go ahead and Google it and see. Average age, because remember, I think she was 40. Average age for gallstones. She definitely had a lot of gall. That's for damn sure. What age do you start having gallbladder problems? Gallstones can appear in a person at any age, but the average age when they become a problem used to be when a person reached his or her 40s, 50s, or 60s. Now, patients with symptomatic gallstones tend to be in their 30s or 40s. I think she was 40. That's interesting that the trend is younger now than it was. It used to be 40. Christy says Straight was right. I'd bet money on it. Straight was absolutely right. Absolutely Absolutely 100% right. Autumn says she was always ready for a fight. I agree with that. I think she was. Lisa says, red shoes, I wasn't correcting you, I was correcting MM. What is that bone called? Seriously, is it hyoid? I thought there was another letter in there. Let me type in hyoid and see. Oh, yeah, you're right. Right away it came up, hyoid. A small U-shaped, horseshoe-shaped, solitary bone situated in the middle of the neck, anterior to something at the base of the mandible and posterior at the fourth cervical vertebrae. Hyoid. Sorry, guys. I thought for sure you were missing a letter, Lisa. There would have been some damage. There would have been some injury. I don't know. Maybe we should all just like change our profile names to I'm stupid. You know, that's what they think evidently. No bruises, no evidence of any lupus. I mean, how does everyone keep ignoring that, right? Every person with lupus should be pissed. Every person with fibro should be pissed. Endometriosis, high risk pregnancies, fertility issues, celiac disease. Didn't she have leaking boobs too? I've heard that one over on Facebook that she supposedly had a boob job. Well, we've figured that out from the pictures, remember? She was flat as a board, and then all of a sudden she had boobs. You know, there's a sight, right? I mean, and look at that leopard dress. It looked like one was like a lot bigger than the other. Something's up with that, guys. I think it's called the cheapest surgeon you can find. But back in 2018, they were saying her boob was leaking. I don't know, maybe that's what made her weird. Christy, you just obviously nailed it. You nailed it. You know I am. Or actually, I don't think they say that I'm straight. I think that what they say is that I have like 20 channels or something and that I tell everybody what to say. Lisa says, what about the coffin birth? Bullshit. Bullshit. Cosmo says, more frightening is the number of people still believing this bullshit. Except Cosmo said baloney because Cosmo's nicer than I am. I actually don't think there are that many people believing it, Cosmo. I really don't. Notice the scumbag attackers never discuss the case. I think they're just in position because I think they've got a whole lot of money that they're hoping to make. I don't think there are really that many people who believe it, the bullshit that we've been told. I told you how when that Netflix drama came out, how people were calling me saying, did she kill the kids? People who didn't know the case watch that Netflix drama that was, I think, created to be like, boo hoo, she's perfect and he's the scum of the earth. And I don't think it worked. I think people watched that Netflix drama and thought, wow, she killed the kids. Christy says, don't start on the leopard dress, MM. But I don't know if you guys noticed that. One boob was like noticeably different than the other. Autumn says, yes, MM, you're right about the print showing. Mrs. Fluffer said, oh, the silicone gave her that infection thing when they make you sick. I think it's interesting when people say it's a closed case, stop talking about it. You do know that in the United States, the public does have a right to know details of criminal cases. You know that, right? The public has the right to know. Our court system is open to the public. That's why reporters, when they file requests, typically get their way to have access. Because in the United States, we believe in due process. It's in the Constitution. So for all the people going, the case is closed. Stop talking about the case. The case is closed. Short answer, no. We're going to keep talking about the case. Because this case doesn't make any sense with what we've been told. And there are 2 little girls who lost their lives. In many of our opinion, due to the lack of protection that Bella and Cece deserved. If it's true that their mother was medically abusing them, which I think she was, and if it's true that she was caught in December of 2016, which I think she was, then somebody dropped the ball. Three of a Kind says, didn't the autopsy note that there was, hold on, I got to scroll, that there were 0 marks on her neck as well. Nothing, nada, not even petechiae. Come on. I think we should all change our usernames to stupid in capital letters. Yeah, everything but the kitchen sink. What was that one comment in that video that we just listened to the last, few live chats ago? What did her brother say? She could sell you back ketchup or something like that? What was that? I think she could sell you back ketchup, something. Okay, give me a 1 if you would have ever bought anything from her. And give me a 2 if you would have looked at her videos and said, ooh. Yeah, to check the knives, that's huge. Why didn't law enforcement say what? Why did somebody just say check the knives? Yeah, exactly, Autumn. Why does everyone just overlook that little detail and say, oh, yeah, well. And I always say, check the knives for what? Check them for what? To see if they're bloody? To them? Because I'm here to tell you, if any friend, air quotes, is instructed to check the knives, that tells me that she probably knew exactly how many knives were there. And if any friend, air quotes, knew exactly about that. Karen says, love your channel. Yeah, you love it when MM's on a roll, huh? All it takes is a little coffee, and I get mouthy. Lisa says, SW didn't impress me because she wasn't very bright, and she was condescending. Mrs. Fluffer says, avoided at all costs. I would have taken 1 look at 1 video. Well, of course, I would have never signed up for a stupid MLM to begin with. But her whole routine of, oh, let me help you. Bullshit. Exactly, Sandy. And I don't even have a clue how many knives I own. Check the knives for what? Count them? Or to see if there's blood on them? Exactly, three of a kind. The stop talking about the case that they always whine is so bizarre to me. I've never heard anyone ever say that about any other case before, ever. And especially when they say, it's a closed case, let it go. It's like, are you kidding me? And don't you love it when the scumbag attackers say, get a job, you're obsessed. Like, really? Because the scumbag attackers spend a hell of a lot more time chasing people around on social media than any of us spend talking about this case. HCN says only free-floating bone in the body, trivia fact. The fact that there were no injuries to her neck, no bruises apparent to the medical examiner, please. Go ahead, Lisa, but I'll just leave that one alone as far as talking, but you guys go ahead in the chat if you want. I just leave that one alone. Mrs. Fluffer says that SW must have self-harmed at one point for SR to say that. I think she had a long history of self-harming. And remember her death language. I don't know, did that bug you guys? It bugged me. Deadly, deathly, dying, strangle. And then, of course, her less than lecture. She didn't want the girls to feel less than. Sounds like someone who did feel less than. Brooke says, stop talking about the case. But as a side note, you'll never know the truth. That tells me everything I need to know about the R's. Lisa says, I'll respect that, just food for thought. And I agree with you. I just don't talk about it. Yes, she said over my dead body a lot of times. A lot of times. She also threatened Cindy Watts that the girls would never step foot in that house again. And 1 month later, those poor little babies were murdered. Three of a Kind says, I always love the way you say, stop talking about the case. The case is closed. Stop it. I haven't gotten an email yet from any multi-gazillionaire who wants to run out and buy the house. But food for thought, Consider it. Let me know. That'd be a nice project for over the winter, wouldn't it? And no, I wouldn't allow anyone to bring any stupid spirit boxes. That'd be ridiculous. I'll tell you what I would do. I would say a prayer at the front door before I walked in, and I would be saying, Satan, be gone. Oh, please. Jeanette's quoting CW. I forgot about that one. Oh, my goodness. I think we're all on a roll tonight. Jeanette says she could sell you the clothes on your back for twice the price you paid for them. Oh, my gosh. Yes, Red Shoe, she did like to threaten people. And the night that Christopher Watts was at his parents' house and then a storm came up, and she's like, you get over here now or I'm going to come and get you. And what's he do? He runs back because he didn't want to have a scene. I mean, yeah, drive through the storm, Power lines are down, traffic lights are out, trees are down. Yeah, drive through the storm. Autumn says this is the only place on YouTube we can talk about it. Exactly right. That's because we're the only channel that actually discusses the case. Everyone else just wants to bash Cindy Watts for shits and grins. Karen says, can't let go of this case. Too much left undone. I guess if they want to keep on lying to us, we're going to keep on talking about it. Yeah, Lisa, exactly. And the helmet thing to the costume or some bullshit. Mrs. Fluffer has cute little icons up. Okay, hold on. I got to make my screen bigger. My purse is really sitting right up here on the shelf on my desk. I could probably get my glasses. But nah, I'll play with the screen here. I got to see what those are. They look like 4 little piggies. Where'd they go? Now you don't see them. Mrs. Fluffer, where did your 4 little piggies go? There they are. Are those 4 little piggies or 4 little devils? Is that in relation to my Satan Be Gone thing? Because I bet you there's some bad EBGB vibes in that place, let me tell you. Autumn's good point. If they can make Stephen Avery innocent, they can make CW guilty. That's what I think. Yeah, it's okay to sign a petition to get 100,000 people on social media pretending that they believe Stephen Avery is innocent. Yeah, sure he is. Does anyone care about Teresa Halbach's family? Well, guess what? I do. Because I think Stephen Avery is guilty as sin. And I don't want to offend anyone here because I know everyone's a bunch of bleeding heart liberals. Well, not all of us. I'm not. And I know a lot of you aren't either. But I know we have a lot of bleeding heart liberals along for the ride. But that Brendan, the nephew, he's guilty too. And what he did was despicable. And he could have said no. And he could have told the bus driver. And he could have told a teacher at some point during the day. Because I don't think it was a surprise to him what was about to happen. And I don't buy this whole thing of, oh, he was so slow, he just didn't know, whatever. Bullshit. That is bullshit. He's guilty. He's guilty. And society is safer having him behind bars. That was not a false confession. And I got news for you. That lawyer that he had to begin with, I think his name was Leonard something. I'm not sure. He's really gotten a bad rap with all the social media junkies who have just been horrendous. The crap they've pulled, the threats they've made, it's disgusting what they've pulled with the case of Stephen Avery and Brendan Dassey. That lawyer that he had to begin with, I think his name was like Leonard Krasinski or something like that. That guy's actually a good guy. He actually is. He's eccentric. He's odd. He's a flipping genius. He's a good guy who actually did care about Brendan. And he would have gotten Brendan a deal. And Brendan probably would have been out of prison by now, long before now. But what happened? Stephen Avery, calling from jail, convinced Brendan's mother that Brendan had to fire his lawyer. You want to know why? Because for Brendan to actually get a deal, he would have had to have agreed to testify against his uncle. And Stephen Avery would have known it. He's calling the house, telling his sister, Barb, to get Brendan to fire the lawyer fast. And they did. And here's another thing. Boo-hoo, boo-hoo, the poor little Brendan was in there without his parents. But guess what? At one point, his mother was asked by the detectives to come in with Brendan into the room. And she said no. And she said something along the lines of, I don't want to hear what he has to say. So this whole idea that Brennan was some sort of victim of the criminal justice system is, are you ready? Bullshit. HCN says it sounds facetious. Time to check the knives, but she was serious. And even time to check the knives? Check the knives for what? To see if the endangered missing took a pack of knives with her? Red Shoe says, wasn't her ex-husband a lawyer? He wasn't a lawyer until after they were done. Done. Cosmo says, totally with you on the Avery case, MM. Well, that makes two of us, Cosmo, because everyone on the planet thinks poor little Brendan is Mr. Innocent. And I think he's creepy as all get out. In fairness to him, I think he was sexually abused by his uncle, and I think his uncle had a weird control over him. You know, in fairness to him, at one point he was a victim. But guess what? A lot of people have been victimized, and they don't go running around killing the photographer from the trade magazine. And a lot of kids his age, guess what? Look at Loretta Lynn. She was already married and had babies coming one after another by that age. Salon says, I wonder what stories the ex-husband has. Oh, I bet he thanks his lucky stars every night before he goes to bed and every morning when he wakes up. And I want to know, who didn't go to that wedding? Who didn't bother to go to that wedding? How dare they not go to that wedding? Just who do they think they are? Trying to make her life miserable by not going to her wedding? Jackie says, I wonder what the daycare teachers would say. Hoo-hoo. You're right, Jackie. Probably something like they worried about those babies every day. I wonder if Bella started talking. I wonder if Bella started talking about the medicine at night. Autumn says, I agree exactly with you on the Avery case, and I do care about Teresa's family. Without the H. Teresa, T-E-R. She has a very nice family, very kind. They're good people. And they have been absolutely attacked, just like the Watts family has been unfairly attacked. It's disgusting. Three of a Kind says, MM isn't a hit the like button kind of channel. No, but I do say join us on Patreon a lot. So I'm not all that innocent. Lisa says, and Leonard was on Reddit for a bit, but he deleted his profile. Yeah, I'd be deleting for sure. Sandy says, not a soul has spoken from the ex's family. I kind of wonder about one of them. There's a profile that shows up on a lot of the Scumbag Attacker videos that I kind of wonder, but who knows? Tennyson says, I don't think she was married prior to CW. Yes, she was. That dress was all just her little weirdness. Red Shoe says, probably groggy and falling asleep. Well, I think that Yeah, who knows? I think, though, being locked in her bedroom for 12 hours straight, she probably got plenty of sleep. Christy says, no, I'm not modding it, Samantha. Just thought I'd say it. Well, I did mods for a while, Three of a Kind. I think I had two or three, and they were dirty. I'm not sure which one was dirty, but one of them. So I just I removed all of them because I do not have the time in my life to try to figure out who's doing what. But they were dirty. Whoever it was blocking regular people who were here to discuss the case. They were just blocking anyone that they didn't like their opinion, I guess. And then they all got pissy with me. It was so funny. I'm thinking, really? I know it's probably not that easy. I know I miss a lot of comments and stuff, but it's better that way, I think. And if you look at those channels and you look at who the mods are, I'll tell you something. That's how you know for sure that you're dealing with dirty. Exactly, Christy. Exactly right. Lisa said, I was snoozing earlier. Who did you say was sleeping in SW's office? I think that was her room, Lisa. I think that was like where they kept her. I know that we see those videos where she's like, what? I don't think that was her norm. I think her norm was a lot of anger and a lot of rage and a lot of not being under control. I think it's interesting that her father said he called every evening to speak with Chris to check on the girls. I think he was checking on whether or not she had a good day or a bad day. Samantha says it's CPS burying this case. Has to be. Hi, anyway, was just wondering, as we don't have mods, fooked everything up and game playing. Exactly. C. Cole keeps on asking this question. I'd still love to know your opinion on the Vaughn case, MM. Perhaps another live? Let's take a look at the Vaughn case and humor C. Cole for just a minute or two here. What was the first name? Was it Chris Vaughn? Looks like it. Okay. It says effort underway to free Christopher Vaughn 9 years after. Oh, I'm yawning. Okay. Yawn number one. Okay, it says a jury took less than 1 hour in September of 2012 to convict Christopher Vaughn. Let's see here. Oops, it disappeared. Oh, here it is. It says a new attorney. Let me see, what's the website here? Sometimes.com. A new attorney on the case says he is looking down a number of avenues, all of which lead to actual innocence. Really? There are also plans to seek clemency from the governor. I don't know, he looks kind of scary in his picture. Nearly 9 years after a judge handed 4 life terms to an Oswego man for the murders of his wife and 3 children, an effort is underway to free the person convicted of one of suburban Chicago's most troubling crimes, the Chicago Sun-Times has learned. A jury took less than an hour in September of 2012 to convict Christopher Vaughn at the end of a 5-week trial that featured more than 80 witnesses. And they found him guilty in less than an hour? Really? Without any discussion? 80 witnesses and they didn't have any discussion? Whoa. Jurors found Vaughn guilty of the June 14, 2007 murders of his wife Kimberly, 34, and their children, 12-year-old Abigail, 11-year-old Cassandra, and 8-year-old Blake. Those are nice names for babies. But Thursday, Waukegan defense attorney Jed Stone told the Sun-Times he recently signed on as lead counsel for Vaughn and has been looking down a number of avenues, all of which lead to actual innocence. Stone and another longtime investigator on the case, Bill Clutter, said they will start by seeking clemency for Vaughn this year from Governor What's-His-Face. Richard Kling, another veteran Chicago defense attorney, confirmed he is part of the effort. Meanwhile, the man whose office oversaw the prosecution said Vaughn would go free when hell freezes over. We proved beyond a reasonable doubt that Vaughn shot his children in the head and chest at point-blank range after putting a gun under the chin of his wife and pulling the trigger. Oh. There's yawn number 2. The governor's press secretary declined to comment. The long-dormant Vaughn case has resurfaced through an iHeartRadio podcast, Murder in Illinois. An episode on Thursday offered a new theory of what happened in the Vaughn family's SUV while it was parked in a secluded area along a frontage road near Interstate 55 and Bluff Road. Vaughn told investigators the family had been on its way to a water park in Springfield. The podcast host, Lauren something or other, said the theory offered in Thursday's episode, its 9th, has already been tested in a crime scene reconstruction July 15 in Kentucky. She said the results will be aired during the weekly podcast's 11th episode. Vaughn is being held in Pinckneyville Correctional Center record show. He turns 47 on September 26. Murder in Illinois has taken heavy criticism for its generally negative portrayal of Kimberly and her family. Whatever her name is, a former Dr. Oz producer, there's credibility, has said that Kimberly's family declined her requests for comment. On Thursday, she told the Sun-Times that rifts in the family contributed heavily in the public perception of Vaughn's guilt. Really? Isn't that interesting? A member of Kimberly's family declined to speak to the Sun-Times. Vaughn's family did not respond to a message seeking comment. Meanwhile, a producer for the Dr. Phil show, there's another highly credible source, said there are plans to tape an episode about the Vaughn case September 15, and in Stone, Vaughn has enlisted the same attorney who represents Marnie Yang, the woman convicted of killing the pregnant girlfriend of former Chicago Bear Sean Gale, which is another case being challenged. There's John number 3. I'm just scrolling through the rest of it. It's a long article. There's a nice family picture. They look happy. Interesting. Okay, so C. Cole wants to know my opinion on it, blah, blah, blah. My opinion is, just my initial reaction to this is that if they had 80 witnesses and the jury only took 1 hour to deliberate before they actually voted guilty, I think that's a problem. There's no way the jury deliberated that case. No way. 80 witnesses and they voted guilty in 1 hour? Did you guys ever watch the movie 12 Angry Men? If not, you should watch it tonight when we're done with this. They decided in less than an hour, with evidently zero conversation, zero deliberations, to send a man to prison for the rest of his life, to deprive him of his liberty and freedom. They decided that with no discussion. I would say there's a huge due process issue right there. Yes, 12 Angry Men. It's an amazing movie. It's all taped in one room, the jury deliberation room, and it's really, kind of weird to watch because you can recognize some of the actors, and it was when they were a lot younger, of course. I like the one from the 90s, and it just basically is saying, okay, he might be guilty, but don't we have a responsibility to discuss it? Salon says the Watts case definitely needed a trial. I agree completely. And I think Christopher Watts needed a trauma expert. I think there's something very wrong on our planet when a woman shoots her sleeping husband in the back, a minister no less, early in the morning, that she was supposed to tell her minister husband that she had been involved in some sort of weird financial scam where she was kiting checks and they owed the bank. I say they, it was really she, owed the bank something like 14 grand. And the bank caught her, and the bank told her to bring her husband in the next morning, I think at 10 a.m., so that they can explain to the bank how they're going to pay him back. She was getting off scot-free. Scot-free. She even had like a private P.O. box so her husband wouldn't see what she was pulling. Okay? But did she tell her husband about all the trouble she was in? No. She took his shotgun from the closet while he was sleeping, and she shot him and killed him. And then she put the kids in the van, and they drove off, and they went to the beach for the day. They went to the ocean. And then she testified at her trial, and she said that he, treated her poorly in the bedroom. He made her dress up like a slut. And the jurors found her guilty of a lesser charge. And I think her sentence was 210 days in jail, with 50 of those days being spent in a mental institution so she could get the help she needed for everything she had been through. And then she got custody of the kids. Okay? So why is it that in her case, this is the Mary Winkler case, why is it that in her case, society wanted to know all the details of how she felt cheapened because of the way he treated her in the bedroom? But in the case of Christopher Watts, society doesn't want to know anything, except, his wife was a retired nurse who was a highly successful executive working for an employee, no less, of a billion-dollar company. What a bunch of shit. She was the saint. He was the monster. What a bunch of shit. Does anybody care about Bella and Cece? In the Mary Winkler case, the kids were fine. The kids were safe. Does anyone care about what really happened to Bella and Cece? Because if they do, then I suggest they start saying, hey, tell us about the DNA of whatever was under Bella's fingernails. Because I'll bet you Bella fought like hell. I bet you she fought like hell, and I bet you it wasn't the first time she had to fight like hell. I think it's time for the true crimers, which we are here on this channel, to be loud and proud about the fact that we do care about what happened to Bella and Cece, and we do care about the fact that they weren't safe in their own home. And we do care about the fact that we know we've been lied to so many times. Well, you know what? If there's nothing to hide, then what are they hiding and why? Bella says it would be something to see the W's sue the R's. I'd donate for that. Well, I think the W's have a problem with being able to stand up for themselves. I think they lack backbone. I also think that Christopher Watts is going to take a few more years, evidently, before he can finally come to grips with whatever it was that happened. I want to say something about the Mary Winkler case. I am not saying that I think that she should have been in jail any longer than she was. And I'm not saying that she shouldn't have gotten the help she needed to help her deal with the experience, the incident. I think her sentence maybe should have been longer than 210 days. And I can't imagine being her husband's parents, her husband's family, her husband's friends, and thinking, what the hell just happened? She murdered him when he was sleeping. She killed him when he was sleeping. And she got 210 days in jail because she felt like a whore in the bedroom? Or she said that he made her feel bad, or he, dehumanized her or whatever? Let's pull together the videos. Hey, dummy. Hey, loser. Right? Do you remember the video she made where she's laughing about how he didn't separate the roast or whatever? She's laughing about his cooking. The person who called a recipe the directions from her little 3-ring binder. The person who thought knowing how to peel an egg was really the hot mama topic of the day. She mocked him. She insulted him. Do you remember the video when she said he'll do whatever I tell him to? Do you remember the time that she told him that he wasn't allowed to take his friend to the airport until he finished cleaning the basement? I mean, I'm sorry for Mary Winkler that her husband made her feel like shit in the bedroom. Yeah, the self-cleaning onion, exactly. But when you see a husband on those videos, not you, Chris, the other Chris, there's more than one Chris. Yeah, that's what we hear. If anybody had a claim for the battered spouse, in my opinion, it was Christopher Watts. Telling him he wasn't allowed to hang out at his parents' when the storm came up suddenly. Look at the Santa Claus one. Where's my phone? I've had Santa Claus visit with the house full of kids. You don't greet him at the door with, where's my phone? Not if you're connected at all to the whole Christmas thing with your kids. And that Santa suit didn't even fit him. What'd she do? Find it on Amazon? Did she order it along with a neck brace? I think he was extremely abused. So much so that I think he was groomed, not just by her either, to believe that he was stuck in the marriage. Samantha said she liked his wimpiness. I think what she liked was his savings account and his credit rating. Yeah, sit down, Santa. And those girls were hysterical. And you want to know what I think? I think they were hysterical because they needed Christopher Watts to be there. I think that's exactly why they were hysterical. I don't think they wanted to be alone with her. And after what we saw in that video, I can see why. I think she got herself into that house by lying. And I think she soon realized, shit, she might have to actually, I don't know, work part-time. Because remember, I think she was on a hefty disability check. I think she added on all those illnesses so she could get a little more Jake rolling in. And after getting that house, I think she thought, shit, I have to pay HOA dues? What? What do you mean utilities? What's that mean? So I think she went looking for someone to pay for it for her. Autumn says, I think he felt hopeless. And then NK made him feel like a man. No, you guys have the timing wrong. No. That marriage was over. Done. Finito. She stopped making the house payment in December of 2017. And rumor has it, when he took $10K out of his 401K to try to save the house, that money went squandering off too. What was it, late March, when she was talking about divorce with a lawyer? What was it, the first week in July, when she told a young hairstylist she was getting divorced and looking forward to being single again? That marriage was over. The entire adultery storyline, in my opinion, is nothing but bullshit. That marriage was over. I think it was moving day. I think she was out the door. And I think it pissed her off. Autumn, I think they were already divorcing. I don't think NK had anything to do with anything. I think they were already divorcing. I think what he told NK was the exact truth, that they were separated. And who takes off for 5 weeks with 2 little ones who actually depend on their father? Who takes off for 5 weeks? You don't, unless you're separating. Lilibet says, and where is the hairstylist? Rumor has it that she suddenly said that she won the lottery and moved to Florida. And she did it all in one day. Big surprise to the people who knew her well, because her co-workers and other people in the shops along the way, they would pitch in, they would do a little lottery thing and put their dollars in and buy tickets together. And she used to laugh at them and tell them what a waste of money it was, what a waste of time, don't even put $1 in because nobody's going to win. She used to laugh at them, and she refused to ever take part in any purchase of any lottery tickets. And then one morning, this is what I was told, one morning she came in with a box to work. You know, she was scheduled to work. She came in, loaded up her stuff from her station, and said that she just won the lottery and she was moving to Florida. All in one day. Yeah, I think she was paid off. And I think she was threatened. You're damn right I do. Because she was verbal. She was vocal. She was very vocal about the fact that Christopher Watt's wife told her she was getting divorced and looking forward to being single again. She said that the first week of July 2018, that marriage was over. They were separated. And I think that when she had that little 5-week stint, I think that whatever stuff she did against the rules, that and claiming she was pregnant, I think expedited that, quote, ongoing family matter. I think she was losing access to Bella and Cece. And I think that Christopher Watts had to follow through with a separation and divorce in order to keep custody of the girls. Remember, she said to him, "Would you stay with me if we didn't have kids?" There's a problem with that. They had kids. So there's a real problem with that question that she asked. Would you stay with me if we didn't have kids? What, was she going to have a 4, almost 5-year-old have crib death all of a sudden? With all those photos where she had blankets and pillows over their faces? Does it bother anybody that she posted one photo after another of those poor babies sleeping with pillows and blankets over their faces, and then they ended up what? Strangled? Smothered? Smothered? Does it bother anybody that a Munchausen mom is most likely to either poison? There's a second one. What's the second one? Poison. I think the second one is malnutrition. And the third one is smother. Does that bother anybody? I think that marriage was long over. And I think that over the summer, she broke the rules. And you want to know something? That whole storyline about the pregnancy, I don't know. The word that comes to mind, in my opinion, is bullshit. Oh, she was spotting and cramping. Oh, but she's out of network. Bullshit. I think she made mistakes in North Carolina and she got caught. And I think her grace period was over. I do believe the people who are claiming that she medically abused those girls in December of 2016 and got caught by the hospital. And keep in mind what happened right after that. Both girls were put in daycare full time. And it was Christopher Watts who worked all day while she sat on her duff at home with 2 little girls in daycare full time. It was Christopher Watts who worked all day, got out of work, drove home, changed his clothes, hopped in the car, drove back to the daycare center, and picked up the girls. If that doesn't convince me that she wasn't allowed to be alone with the girls or to drive the girls or to travel with the girls, then nothing would. FRV something or other says, when you're on the brink of separation, you don't blah, blah, blah. Well, guess what? if you're not getting a divorce, you don't go in to get your hair done and tell a young hairstylist that you're getting divorced and looking forward to being single again. Karen says, I think she was even sicker than she appeared. I'm not sure how that could be, but I agree. I think it was either bipolar or schizophrenia. I think she got caught, and I think in North Carolina she got caught again. And I think Christopher Watts had already been notified that he had to divorce her in order to keep the girls. She said to him, would you stay with me if we didn't have kids? She also told her quote unquote, air quote, friends that whenever she tried to talk to him about their relationship, he would respond that he was not going to lose the girls. So what does that tell you? Stay with his wife, lose the girls. So what does that tell you? See, Cole, we discuss other cases all the time. I just read an article about the case you asked about. So what's your program? Yep, butter noodles, pizza and noodles. Yep, she was such a good cook. That kind of shows you how brainwashed he was too, doesn't it? You know, Cindy Watts always worked full-time. She had an actual job, an actual career. She worked full-time and then she'd rush home. Either her mom or her mother-in-law lived right across the street. So the kids would go there after school, and then Cindy would pick up the kids. Cindy and Ronnie would pick up the kids, and then she'd get dinner on the table on time. Cindy Watts is a good cook. But guess what? Christopher Watts was absolutely expected to pretend that his mother wasn't a good cook. He was supposed to pretend that his future mother-in-law was going to teach him how to cook. I think Christopher Watts actually believed that his wife knew how to cook. And I think it's evident in his police interview that she didn't, along with her own videos. Cindy Watts is a fine cook with many years of experience of actually working and then rushing home and getting food on the table for their family dinners. They didn't talk about divorce. They didn't separate. They didn't use drugs or alcohol. Oh, boo-hoo, Ronnie used some cocaine at some point when both kids were in college. Whoop-dee-doo. Those kids, Christopher Watts and Jamie, did not come from an alcoholic home. They did not come from a dysfunctional home. They did not come from a home where parents separated and lived apart. They didn't come from a home with a lot of fighting or where anyone was kicking the other one, for Pete's sake. They came from a solid home, and their mother was a good cook. But Christopher Watts, early in the dating relationship, was told repeatedly by his future wife that his mother didn't know how to cook. Over and over again. Cindy Watts was getting bashed before he even married her. That marriage was over, you guys. That lawyer said in his police interview that he asked her straight up if she was getting divorced, and that her reaction to his question was in the affirmative. That hairdresser never played the lottery before. And then all of a sudden she supposedly won 20 grand and quit her job on the spot and got the hell out of North Carolina fast. Uh-oh, Happy Angie just spit out her tea. It looks like Christy said something funny. Yeah, where is Susie? Maybe she has a date tonight. We'll have to ask her for details. Wonder if she's wearing a mask. I just scrolled up. Where's Christy? Okay, Christy says, I saw Susie last night going for it in Dave's chat. See, Cole, stop whining. I just saw your comment. You whine again, I'm going to block you because we don't, this is the no whine zone. We don't put up with whining here. So stop it. Had enough of your whining tonight. Oh, it is? I didn't know that, three of a kind. Okay, that's what it is. She's going to be peeved when she wakes up and sees that we were chatting without her. Let's see here. Somebody is saying, I wish Cindy would give us the inside info. I'm scrolling up to see who said it. Samantha. Well, Cindy told me the inside info, and I'm here to tell you, I already figured that was the case. When she started telling me about it, I was like, that's what I figured. That's exactly what I figured. And I think that's exactly why there was so much pressure to not have a trial. Yes, Christy. Not like I'm always in a good mood. Well, maybe not always. But I am a little bit happy-dappy tonight. And I'm probably going to sound like this for quite a while now. I guess if I, make sure I grab a coffee before a live chat too, that might help. Like she had DID? What do you mean? Did? Autumn says, Lilibet, yes, locked in their rooms with no water, and Benadryl dries your throat and nasal passages. Yeah, and there's a good point, you guys. Supposedly, in my opinion, so that she could try to get disability checks, supposedly they had asthma. I don't believe it. Supposedly they had asthma. You do not lock a child in a bedroom who has asthma. You don't lock children in their bedrooms anyway, for Pete's sake. Can anyone get mad with me about that? They were 3 and 4 years old. If you've got to put a latch on a door, that's when you've got a little 1.5-year-old who learned how to scale out of the crib. A 3 and 4-year-old? And you're locking them in their bedrooms? Do you know how dehumanizing that is? Bella was almost 5 years old and she's locked in her bedroom? That is insanity. Absolute insanity to be locking children in their bedrooms. Unless, of course, they were being locked in their bedrooms for their own protection. Ah, poor Cole. Cole had to whine again. Did everybody hear me tell Cole that if you whine again, I'm blocking you? Evidently, Cole didn't hear or Cole didn't care because Cole just got blocked because he or she whined again. Those little girls should not have been behind locked doors. However, if they were in danger, if somebody was able to get in their bedroom in the middle of the night, then I guess that would make more sense. It's in the no whine zone, Karen. No whining. Christy says, OMG, that's a really good point. Locked from her. Well, I think that her room was on the main floor, and I think she quite possibly had a lock on the outside of her door. And I think that Bella and Cece were locked in, and I don't think she had access to a key. And I think the morning of the tragedy, somebody didn't do their job. And remember, I think it was moving day. I think it was moving day. I think when Christopher Watts was doinking his coworker, he was absolutely honest with her when he said that they were separated and getting divorced. And I think at that point he figured all he could do was get an apartment. And remember, he didn't say a 3-bedroom apartment. He said an apartment for him and for his 2 children. Do you think that he really thought she was pregnant? Because from what I was told, he wondered how that could have been because they had not been together. That marriage was over. She wasn't pissed about a girlfriend. I think she was pissed because her fake routine was over. I think she would have been forced to return to North Carolina with her parents, with her father. I think it was moving day. Cosmo, the video was rolling. Of course she's going to say, okay, I'm coming. Did you ever wonder how on earth she could keep on ignoring Bella's crying? She was so detached from any of their tears. Look at the Whack-A-Daddy video. She taunted her. She tormented her. That's emotional abuse, you guys. Watch that video. If you want to see an example of emotional abuse, watch that video. Bella didn't want to play. Bella didn't appreciate the fact that her mother and her grandmother were sitting there laughing at her father while the girls were expected to smack him with whipped cream. Bella wasn't 2. She was almost 5. She didn't appreciate it. She didn't want any part of it. She went and hid underneath a chair. And what did her mother do? I mean, come on. You want to see crazy in action? Watch the Whack-A-Daddy video. It's crazy. And again, why did society fail Bella and Cece? Because that video was posted online. People saw that happen. She didn't stop her crazyville antics until Bella was crying. And we're supposed to pretend what? That Bella was just a super soft-hearted little, shell of a person? No. Bella said she didn't want to play. So Christopher Watt's wife turned into Crazyville. Come on, Bella. I mean, that was creepy. Leave the kid alone, for Pete's sake. Happy Angie says, imagine how it was when the camera wasn't on. Exactly. Exactly right. I agree, Bella. To protect the children from their own mother. And I think that society dropped the ball by not removing the children from the home. Christopher Watts should have lost Bella and Cece until such time as he was prepared to have them at home without any possible risk of danger. Ongoing family matter? We were told that by a family member of Christopher Watts' wife. Ongoing family matter. What does that sound like to you? Three of a Kind wants me to scroll up and look for a diapers comment. Let's see here. It always makes me chuckle when you call Whack-A-Daddy. Okay, that's not a diapers comment. Yeah, Whack-A-Daddy's one that people laugh at. Another one is doinking. They like the word doinking. Let's see here. Here we go. The locked doors at night also prove they were both still in diapers at night. Exactly. 12 hours. 12 hours. Almost 5 years old. I know I'm a lot older than you guys, but I'm here to tell you the whole idea of pull-ups is not a good thing. It just isn't. I know moms are busy with, holding down jobs and motherhood at the same time, but it is not good. My babies I won't say how many, even though I've been doxxed a million times, all of my babies were potty trained on their second birthday. And it was before pull-ups were invented, quite frankly. I think they may have come along there at some point in the first few years. But my babies were potty trained on their second birthdays. There's a little book called Let's Go Potty. You get it before their second birthday, and you read it to them over and over and over again as part of your nightly reading routine. By the time it's their second birthday, and you even say to them, no, you're not 2 yet. When you're 2, that way they want it. They want it before their second birthday. And then they know that on their second birthday, they get to go potty in the big girl potty or in the big boy potty. It's that simple. But with all the working moms now and everything, they came up with these pull-ups. And now kids are 4 years old in pull-ups. Like, are you kidding? I think the counseling offices are going to be chock full of people in a couple of decades who have potty issues. They call it anal retentive if they have potty issues. If you're doing the pull ups routine with your babies, stop it. Seriously, get the book. It's called Let's Go Potty. It works. And you know what? It works even easier with your younger kids because they're like really wanting to go on the big boy potty or in the big girl potty. On their second birthday, that's what they do from that day forward. Exactly. Exactly. How humiliating for poor little Bella. THS could be the rain machine designed to cancel out the noises from outside of the bedrooms. Ding, 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 ding. And what kind of noise? Were there rants? Were there fights? Were there screams? Were there crazy sounds? Not to move her stuff. I think it was moving day, guys. I think it was moving day. I do. Three of a Kind says there's an epidemic of school-age children starting school not toilet trained. Oh, please. No way. That is so sad. Anybody you know who has anybody over 2 years old who isn't potty trained? There we are. It booted me, and then I had to click the thing and go back in. Yeah, that was weird. Must be YouTube doesn't like us talking about Let's Go Potty. Christy says, wish you would give us hints to who may have suggested moving day to UMM. I want to check with him first before I tell you, but I think if you put your thinking cap on, you'll probably figure it out. I think it was moving day. I do. And I also think that she was kept in the main floor, quote unquote, office. I do not think they shared the master bedroom at all. I should retitle this video Let's Go Potty. That'll be a good reminder for everybody. Just think, 4.5, 5 years old, her mother has this fixation on rectal temps. Are you kidding? I wonder what that ongoing family issue, right? Would they have like a family plan in place that the girls would be safe as long as Christopher Watts was there or as long as a caregiver was there? And they let them do rectal temps on the kids? Maybe that was the catalyst to changing how things were going to work out. I don't think so, though. I don't. I think it was whatever happened over the summer of 2018. I think she broke some rules. Think about it. If there was a family plan in place, which I absolutely believe there was, and they expected other adults to be there, and then she's posting that kind of crap on social media, gee, I wonder if that would have gotten the attention of any social worker. And then if they had a certain set of rules set for her separation from Hubs, and again, I think the marriage was already over by then. I think when her father flew with her and the girls to North Carolina, that marriage was done. Happy Angie said she was just in Vegas last weekend and there was one of the MLM pop-ups off the strip. I was in a little town near a big city and there was actually a storefront with that MLM. I couldn't believe it. And the people acted kind of hyper. Seriously. Galaxy says SW is a textbook narc. I absolutely agree 100%. I take it to mean the word narcissist. And I think the way the scumbag attackers go on and on about how everyone on the planet except SW it was a narcissist is pretty much the proof. I was told that the file showed her to have been diagnosed with bipolar, Munchausen by proxy, and narcissistic personality disorder. Brooks, I think your point is very well made, like trained seals. Here's another uncomfortable subject, since we're dealing with so many uncomfortable subjects in this live chat. Here's another one. Do you think that Cece acted like a 3-year-old? Do you think that Bella acted like an almost 5-year-old? I don't think they had proper bonding when they were born. I don't think they had proper interaction. I don't think they had anything close to a normal childhood going on. Sophia says they acted like 2-year-olds. I agree completely. And I actually happen to know 2-year-olds who actually have a better vocabulary than either one of the girls had. Here's another thing my kids could do by the time they were 2. They knew different words in Spanish. They could count to 10 in Spanish by the time they were 2. They could use big words and they could actually say sentences by the time they were 2. Take a look at the videos. In the case of Christopher Watts, Bella and Cece did not have well-developed vocabularies at all. Cece didn't speak. Natalie says Cece couldn't speak or enunciate. She didn't speak at all. And she was 3. And right before Christopher Watts' wife had her major nut meltdown, Cece got pissed because some of the kids were having their ice cream in a bowl, and she was evidently supposed to not have her ice cream in a bowl. You know, the liars go on and on. Oh, there was some sort of nut issue. Bullshit. The tantrum was because Cece wanted her ice cream in a bowl. And instead of saying, I want my ice cream in a bowl, she grunted. She got mad. She literally threw herself on the floor face first and had a conniption fit. And as soon as Cece threw herself on the floor, face first, having her conniption fit, her mother went ballistic. Is that how things happened in the Watts house? Grunting, yelling, screaming, crying, sudden rage? Bella and Cece were far behind in their development. Oops, Sophia just nailed it. Sophia said, I think they were both developmentally delayed. Three years old and she's throwing herself on the floor, kicking and screaming. Christy says, fetal alcohol syndrome. Three of a Kind says, that is a perfect analogy, Galaxy. Let me see what Galaxy said. Galaxy says, SW is a disturbing person, let alone parent. I don't see an analogy there. Let's see here. I must have missed it. Exactly, Three of a Kind. They weighed the same. Almost 5, and she weighed the same as her 3-year-old sister. Exactly. Exactly, Samantha. Samantha says her 2-year-old can do more than Bella could at age 5. Why aren't people discussing this? They're so busy trying to pretend that Cindy Watts is a narcissist. I mean, seriously. They're so busy signing on to the hate campaign, right? They're so busy promoting the lies that they're fed, that they're supposed to feed everybody else. Why isn't anyone saying, what the hell was going on? That poor little Bella seemed like a 2-year-old. And poor little Cece, in my opinion, seemed like she was more like 12 months old. She didn't speak. Exactly, Sophia. Bella gained weight in North Carolina. She also, I noticed her hair actually seemed like regular hair. Instead of that chopped off, she looks like she has cancer routine. I think Bella and Cece were their mother's ticket in her own mind to pumping up a disability paycheck. Tennyson says they were made to look sick. I absolutely agree with that. And what's with the hair? Here's another one. That whole Pebbles deal. Why would anybody put Cece's hair like that? Why would anybody? She was a 3-year-old little girl and she had nothing going on in the hair department. Nothing. 3 years old? My newborns had more hair than that. Where are the people who care about Bella and Cece? Where are the people who say, what the hell? Autumn says that had to hurt Cece's scalp. Exactly. Exactly. Yes, Sophia, short hair is known from mothers with Munchausen. Karen says, all afraid of SW. Yep, afraid of pissing her off. Because remember, she knew how to kick. Well, how does anyone know that somebody would know how to kick unless they've seen that somebody kick. No kidding, 3 of a kind. I think my newborns had more hair at birth. And notice too that in every video, it was always the same. Natalie said that Cece couldn't hold up 3 fingers when Santa asked her how old she was turning. Bella says all the medication and the tight ponytails affected the cuticle. Autumn says stress too will make your hair fall out. Okay, here's another unpopular subject. Who was creating such fear in poor little Bella? She was afraid of everything. She was afraid of the dirt. Remember how she said to the babysitter she was afraid somebody was going to feed Cece the wrong food and then she wouldn't see her again? Do you know that's emotional abuse? Okay? Let's call it what it is. Emotional abuse to push a 4-year-old little girl into living in absolute fear. Natalie said she wore headbands instead. My mom used to put my hair up in a partial pony, pull up hair on both sides and do a ponytail on the top, but leave my hair down. You know what I mean? Didn't matter if I was running late at all. I sat on the stool in the kitchen and she put my hair up in the partial pony. Bella would have never been worried that her sister was going to die if somebody fed her the wrong food unless her mother created that fear in her. Little 4-year-old, almost 5-year-old little girls don't run around worrying that somebody is going to feed their, and come on. You really think Cece was allergic to anything? Autumn says it's called a princess ponytail. Tennyson says Bella had nobody. I think Bella probably had good teachers at school. I think she depended on Christopher Watts. If you look at the body language in any of those videos, they lean toward Christopher Watts. They lean toward him. They go right up to his face. They didn't lean toward their mother. I think they also had their Mimi and Papa. Because you can tell in those videos that Cindy Watts sent me, you can tell that they were actually very close to their Mimi and Papa. Red Shoe says that the shiners in denial will never acknowledge or learn lessons from this, continuing the abuse. Personally, I think the shiners are a bunch of abusers too. Exactly. CW is who they hugged. Exactly right. Autumn says that she met MM's style of hair when she was young is a princess ponytail. That would fit. I remember one time, I can't remember. I think actually I don't think it was for school. I think I was heading off to ballet class with my neighbor. My neighbor was my best friend, my next door neighbor. We were best friends. And her mom was taking us to ballet class. And I remember needing to rush right over, right? And hop in their VW van. They were kind of like hippies a little bit, but not really. Well, kind of. And she was taking us to ballet class. And I remember my mother saying, sit down, sit down. She had to do my hair. And I was like, I'm going to be late. Galaxy says it isn't victim blaming, it's learn from this horrific tragedy. Well, you know what I think about the whole victim blaming bullshit? Is I think there were two victims in this case named Bella and Cece, and that's who I care about. They want a virtue signal and try to make us feel bad for giving a shit about the fact that two little girls were murdered in what should have been the safety of their own home and the suffering that they both endured before the tragedy. We're supposed to, like, what, feel shameful for that? I don't think so. Actually, I think we feel pretty good about ourselves because we happen to be brave enough to stand up to the bullshit and say, guess what? What happened to Bella and Cece was horrific. And not only on the day they died, Benadryl and Tylenol at bedtime, lots of Tylenol, the little monsters, rectal temps, familial Mediterranean fever. They both needed surgery in the same day. Both kids are sick again. Yeah, we care about that. The warning flags were flying high. Bella and Cece should have been removed from that dangerous home. And somebody should have been behind bars. Lots of Tylenol? She announced it to the world on her video that she gave both children lots of Tylenol. That is not a woman who's saying, I gave my children the proper dose of Tylenol. They should have been knocking on that door immediately. They should have been drawing blood. And they should have been removing those children. Autumn says they ignore Bella and Cece. They're all about SW and protecting her name. And here's the thing. Those videos that we've all seen already, guess what? She speaks for herself. She laughs into the camera about how her doormat husband will do whatever she tells him to. And then they get pissy because we say he was an abused husband. She calls Bella a little monster. She makes her cry. She sprays water right in her face and laughs and says that's why she had kids. And the scumbags want to say that we're, what, slandering a dead woman? She slandered herself when she was alive. Actually, it wouldn't have been slander. She presented herself to the public when she was alive and showed the world that she thinks it's okay to treat little Bella the way she did. And any of the scumbag attackers who are saying, oh, she was such a wonderful mother, either haven't researched this case or don't have a clue how to parent. Ray says it exactly like it is. In my opinion, too, I agree with you, Ray. Poor Bella, a shell of a child. Samantha's comment says, how far was she in autopsy? Well, I don't know. Is that the autopsy that didn't mention the neck scar or say there was any injury to her neck? Is that the medical examiner who said that the BAC was due to decomp? Is that the same group of people who said she had a coffin birth? I think she was severely mentally ill. I think all of her talk was a direct result of her mental illness. Happy Angie wants to know if I think she was even pregnant. No, Happy Angie, I don't. I'll tell you why I don't. According to Cindy Watts, Christopher Watts said, I don't know how that happened because we weren't together. You know what I mean? Together, like in the biblical sense, okay? That's one. Okay, so you can bring up the leopard dress and maybe whatever. But I think when she peppered the lawyer with all sorts of questions about whether or not Christopher Watts would be able to take the girls out of state, because I think that's what her questions were about. She was asking about whether or not the court would allow the parent with custody to take the children out of state. I was just reading Red Shoes, or Samantha's. Samantha said, Miss Mensa, I'm having another girl, 2nd of February, is it Riviera? Ocean Riviera? I love the names you guys come up with. So think about it. Christopher Watts claims they weren't together. She had just spoken with a lawyer and found out that he was giving her answers she didn't like to hear. She didn't go in for any prenatal care. And when she claimed she was spotting and cramping, she didn't go to the emergency room. I don't think she was pregnant. I don't. I mean, if the autopsy is going to miss the neck scar, hello. Got to plug in my computer quick. There, I got it plugged in time. Running down the battery. Yes, Happy Andy, I think so too. Oh, there's a yawn. Partial yawn. Happy Angie says the maternity pictures were of Cece's pregnancy. I think so too. And remember when that was posted, it wasn't posted with a full date. Ooh, Samantha, scary. Very scary. Oh, okay, there's another yawn. I think it's time to put Miss Message at night. I was busy today. Very busy. I was busy all this week. So let's go ahead and say goodnight. Let me think about my schedule here. I might do this again tomorrow. And then Sunday and Monday, well, I might do it. I don't know when I'll do it again. I'll try to do another one tomorrow because Sunday I'm going to be super busy too. I wish I could tell you guys the really cool news, but I can't because of all the scumbags, because we know dang well we have a few lurkers in here. Yes, Ray says sleepy time. And you guys know, usually I have a 3 yawn rule because, I do fall asleep easily. I think the coffee's wearing off too. I'm glad you guys all came. I love it when we just cut through the bullshit and talk, I think 3 years is long enough for us to realize that the Shiner shit is just that, Shiner shit. And I'll say it again, that marriage was over, you guys. That coworker had nothing to do with anything. That marriage was already done. Nobody takes off for 5 weeks straight. In my opinion, that was the separation right there. That marriage was over before her father flew with her and the kids back to North Carolina. And I think whatever she did in North Carolina that broke the rules was the tipping point. Courts don't dink around year after year after year. It's either a safe situation or it isn't. Aw, 3 of a kind, you're sweet. 3 of a kind said, we appreciate you, MM. I appreciate you guys too. I love our conversations. I'll try to do it again tomorrow. If I don't, I'll see you like Monday or Tuesday for sure. Everybody have a wonderful weekend if I don't hop on tomorrow. But I think I will. Maybe around the same time as we did tonight. That worked out pretty good. So on that note, everybody, good night. Be safe. Be healthy. Don't forget your vitamin D. Definitely take your vitamin D. And remember, be safe, be healthy, and know that yes, and elderberry too, definitely. And, vitamin C and whatever. Take a good multiple at least. And have the zinc ready if you need it. And get out there and go for a good walk. Like every day. It doesn't have to be, 5 miles or anything. But get out there and go for a walk. Put your feet on the ground. Yes, and your zinc. They have really good cough drops with the zinc. So we'll do this again, I think tomorrow, if not Monday or Tuesday. Love you guys. Everyone have a great weekend. And we'll get together again very soon. I don't know what we'll talk about. I think we covered everything in this live chat. So maybe we'll talk about Prince Harry. Just kidding, Prince Harry, if you're listening. Good night, everybody.